Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a spritzing technique. And the gift solution is one of these Petite cafe bags from Stampin' Up, which is made from craft paper, recycled craft paper. And I think that they're absolutely beautiful, and they have a self-sealing clip at the top, which you can wrap ribbon round, or you can just leave it as is. And I've made a tag to go on the front, which I haven't made flat. I've made it so that you can turn it over and write on the back, and I think the curling of that tag actually adds an extra dimension to it as a gift bag. And I would be delighted to receive something like this, so I'd like to think that other people would too. And it's just been very simply decorated with some striped ribbon and a snowflake element. So I'm going to crack on, purely because I want to show we need to get the spritzing done to create the background for the actual sentiment, so that needs to be able to dry. So I am using shimmery Whisper White cardstock, and this is what we're going to be spritzing, but using a decorative mask. Now I'm using a different decorative mask to the one that I used yesterday. So I'm just going to place this down over the top of my cardstock. Now, to get the inks, ideally, so that they are quick drying, you want to add in some alcohol. And the easiest way to do that is using rubbing alcohol, just something like this, 70% rubbing alcohol, which you can get from beautician supplies or from your local pharmacy or chemist, and you'll find it sort of in the area where you get dressings and plasters and all those sorts of things. If they don't obviously have it, just ask the pharmacist and they'll point you in the right direction. So it's 50% water to 50% rubbing alcohol, and then you put in as many drops of re-inker. So I'm using Mossy Meadow and Cherry Cobbler, and you just put in as many drops as you want to get the colour that you want. I've used quite a lot of ink refills into mine because I want the colour to be a bit more intense, but it's great fun. So these spritzers you can get from Stampin' Up as well, and they come with a cap. The one thing is, do not aim this at yourself. I did it the other day by complete accident. I got distracted, and then I ended up with green splatter paint that was in the shape of my glasses. The lenses on my glasses were covered with the ink, so I did look a little bit odd. So yeah, just make sure that anything you would rather not have spritzed is out of the way. Stand back. Now I'm going to show you on the card here. So before I actually stamp, if you go close to, and you can get quite a large blob, and as you move away, and also how hard you press will determine what the splatter is, and the higher up you go, the more diffuse the splatter will be. So I'm just going to take that, I'm just doing it onto my grid paper. So ideally, either if you haven't got grid paper, then something like a few sheets of newspaper, anything like that really. So just pop your mask in place. You could use a bit of washi tape just to hold the edges down, and then just hold it up and start spritzing. And that's the green. And the thing is, you can lift the mask, you could even rotate it and spritz again. So, and then Cherry Cobbler. In some places I want the colours to mix. And that's it, and I can smell the alcohol now. And you take it off and you've got a funky design. Now what I want to do is add some extra diffuse, so I'm going to stand well away and do some spritzing from further away, and then a little green, and what you will end up with is you've still got the pattern in the background, but you've also got an overall pattern. So I'm just going to pop that to one side whilst we do a few other bits, and then that can dry. And just use a piece of kitchen towel just to wipe off all the excess ink. You could use a baby wipe. I've just got kitchen towel here for my stamp, so I'm just using that. So, and you can see it does cover quite a wide area, so you do want to make sure you protect your work surface. Okay, so that's that all clean and dry. Right, so the next job is actually we need that back because we're going to be spritzing the bag as well. So the bags come in packs of 10, and they come flat packed like that, and as you can see, this is the securing piece up here. You can die cut these as well. You can manage to slot dies in and have a little hole in the front, and then pop some window sheets in there so you've got an opening. You can also, these are food acceptable, so you can put food directly into them. They've got a little area of waxing in there. Right, so yet again we're going to pop this, start on this side. This is a flatter side. We're going to start on this side, and I don't want this exactly the same, so I'm going to rotate it and start spritzing. And I don't want it going all the way up either. And then take that off and rotate it the other way. And you can make as many funky designs that way as you like. Go a bit closer to get some areas, and it's great fun. Just make sure that that nozzle is pointing away from you. There we go. Right, so you've just got some patterning on there, and that will lighten up as it dries. Just clean this off. Need a little bit of time for the inks to just dry, but they do dry really quickly. It smells like a men's locker room because it's usually footballers and rugby players end up having rubbing alcohol poured on their wounds and their sore limbs. Okay. So that's your spritzing done. You could do it on the back side as well, in which case you'd just want to flap that down so you've got a full length. Okay, once that's done, you can open your bag up just like you would a bottle bag. There you go. So it opens up like that. The next thing to do is your tag. So you want the banner framelits, and you want to pick the size that fits your stamp. So this is a stamp that we're using, quite a big one. Happy Holidays, Blessings. It's got little snowflakes on, and it comes from one of the Hostess stamp sets that's in the current seasonal catalogue, 6 sayings. You can only get this with a qualifying order, whether that's through a workshop or an online order or through your demonstrator. So you just want to pick out 2 tags, one size smaller than the other, but you want to make sure that the smallest one is going to fit around your stamp. And that one will be it, and then from there you want the next one up. So that's the 2 that I'm using, which are the largest and the second to largest, so the penultimate largest one. Put your framelits away again, and you will want your big shot. You either need the multi-purpose platform or the magnetic platform. I personally prefer the magnetic platform for thinlits dies or framelits dies. You want the flattest side down, and what I do is I rotate my cutting plates each time I use them, so it keeps them fairly flat. We're going to go with the biggest framelit first, which is using cherry cobbler, so we're staying nice and coordinated. I'm going to die cut that from there, and then with that piece of card that we spritzed, this is dry now, so that's how quickly it dries with the added alcohol, and I'm going to be die cutting that one. So I shall die cut both at the same time rather than putting you on hold twice. So that one's going on there. So you've got your magnetic platform, your cardstock, then your die with the cutting blades facing down, and then your second cutting plate, and that goes through your big shot. So I'm just going to die cut both of those tags and I'll be back with you. Right, I'm back. I've die cut both of those tags. So just pop your big shot to one side and pop those dies back in your case first straight away. They do have a habit of going and walkabout otherwise. If you ever want to know how many you had in the pack, if you just look on the back side of your pack, you'll see it says 6, and it includes the sizes of the dies as well, and then your name of the pack is on the front. Right, so we've got 2, and these are going to go one on top of the other, and you just want to stamp. I'm using basic black so that it stands out over the top of your background image, and it does transform it quite a lot once you actually stamp onto that background that you've created. It has quite a vintage feel, I think. So just pop your sentiment on here. You can have it placed wherever you like on that tag, at the top, middle or bottom, or somewhere, anywhere in between. There you go, so there's your sentiment. You could die cut it after you've punched it, obviously, but because I don't want to take up too much of your time, I don't want to keep putting you on hold and then bringing you back after I die cut things. Right, so that's going to go on roughly on there, and how I attach the bag is using the handheld stapler, which is this little monkey here. You get little mini staples that you can purchase, and it just slots together like that. So you just bring in your spritzed bag and you would fill it, dun, 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 and then you would close it, and then hold your banner where you want it to be. And this has got quite a long arm on it, this this stapler, so you can actually get right in there, look, and do one staple on either side. There you go, and that's your bag all sealed, and you've got your sentiment on there. So a little bit of decoration. The first thing is some ribbon, and how I tie my ribbon is a bunny ears, but there is a technique to it. So always have the ribbon so it's running away from you. So you want to make one loop, then you bring your next bit of ribbon up, and you're flipping that ribbon over so the loop is going away from you, and you want to make that loop roughly the same size as the other one, just because it makes it a bit easier. And then you simply tie a knot. And I have realised in my videos I say simply an awful lot. I'm really sorry if it bores you. Right, start again, because because I'm doing long ends, they're too long. Untie it now. Dun, dun. Right, here we go. So one loop and the tail is facing away from you, and then your second loop goes backwards, roughly the same size, and then you tie a knot, and then all you do is you hold on the knot in the middle, and you can pull the ends to shorten and lengthen them. So you can make your bow as large or as small as you want. I think that would do nicely. And a glue dot to pop that on. Find my glue dots. Everything but the kitchen sink in my adhesives box. And again, if you have the tape so it's running away from you, then you can peel back the wax paper and reveal just one glue dot. So give it a good press, lift it up, and then because it's slightly wider than the knot, just squeeze the glue dot backwards and pop that onto your bag, and then you can trim that back, your ribbon back, so it's as long as you want it to be. I quite like things to be quite long and loopy when you're making them for special occasions. And I've used the garden green, sorry now the camera's wobbling, I hit it. I've used the garden green striped ribbon, keeping it all very festive. Put my glue dots away. You can see the mess that spritzing has made, so there's a real benefit to having paper underneath what you're doing. And then the last little bit, just to fancy it up a little bit more, I'm going to use one of these snowflake elements. Love them. They're probably one of my most favourite accessories in the current Stampin' Up catalogue. And I just need a Stampin' dimensional. I actually find that these little Stampin' dimensionals work really, really, really well with the snowflake elements, and you don't even notice that there's a little dimensional underneath there. So just pop that on wherever you want it to be. You can still see the glimmer coming through on that whisper white glimmer paper, so it has a little sparkle of its own, and you could just imagine filling that full of old-fashioned sweets or sugared almonds, or I don't know, mini chocolate eggs, or all sorts of things you could put in that little bag, couldn't you? You could even have, you know, like you can buy bottles of spiced oil. You could put things like that in there. There's just so many things you could do with it. So that's today's packaging and gift tag ideas. The full information and links to my online store and blog, etc., is in the more information below today's blog. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I will get back to you as quickly as I can. I just want to get to know you all and have some fun with you all. If you have suggestions, let me know as well, if there's any topics you'd like me to cover. Otherwise, I will say ta-ta for now, and I'll see you anon.